Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, TheRumpledOne, coming to you on Thursday, December the 15th. The year's 2022. Let's talk trading. Trading with Walmal. As always, these videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. Well, boys and girls and non-binary traders, we've got like 3 days of red news in a row. We had some yesterday. We've got some coming up today. And I believe we got some tomorrow. So, I decided we'll do some trading sessions so you can get a glimpse of how Walmal trades and how I trade. Walmal, what you looking at right now?
Looking at the fact that we have our first 1 minute candle on the hour just earned. We got a pretty significant down here on the 1 minute. I don't even know how many down candles we've got in a row, but it's like 14 candles or something like that.
Well, we got 14 dots in a row or so, but
yeah, we've got one or two or three, up candles, but they still close below the EMA 5,
right.
So that's still kind of trending down. We're breaking the 10 line right now. I'm going to take the chance here and take a short. I don't know if that was a good move or not, but I'm going to go and take it and see what happens. Reason why is because of that, the fact that it's going down. I am going into a little bit of a congestion area, so I'm going to be very, very close as to what I do here. Boom. I'm out. I just took 5 pips.
Nice shot.
So that was an easy one to do.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, reality, I could have probably gotten 7 or 8, maybe even 10 if it gets down to the 00. But the reason why I was keeping it short, which is what I was saying before he rudely interrupted me with that move down, was that we're going into a congestion zone from last hour, so it's just something to pay attention to. And like I said, it's probably going to go down to the 00, and it certainly did.
Yeah. Well, we've got that Euro news, I believe it is, and they're probably moving it down so they can move it back up.
Probably something along those lines, because it likes to go and do that. Tries to go and set us. I hate to say it, us sucker bettors up, otherwise known as retail traders.
Right.
Get us convinced it's going to go and do one thing and then turn around and go and do something totally different.
Yeah,
but
well, we traded this, in that last hour. If you see, right about this levels when we started getting in the trade long and moving up.
Yep, exactly. Both of us got some really nice trades in that area.
Yeah.
I'm done for the day of it, and you're missed the 2% club. Well, you got your 2% today, so so you're done. But talking about the news at 8:15, we've got what's coming out is out of the euro. What's coming out is their monetary changes in terms of interest rates. And you say, well, why do you care about that? You're trading a pound dollar. Well, they're all interconnected in some way, fashion, or another. Now, it may not affect it as much as, say, the British news did or what the U.S. news did yesterday afternoon, but it will affect it.
Right.
Because if people are going to pump money into the euro so they can get a better interest rate, well, that money's got to come from somewhere. Money comes from somewhere. Unlike our government sometimes think where it just grows on trees. No, it actually has to. In the real world, it actually comes from somewhere, which means you go and divest out of certain investments or risks, and then you go and invest it in others.
Yeah, and just so you know, there was a turn trade that happened here. We have a bearish candle here, red or black, depending on what you like to look at here. And then you had a green candle, which was also an inside bar, and then you can see price, ran up. So there was a nice opportunity to make a little scalp there, even though and here we're coming up on another. This is all on M1. M5 we still are red. M30 we're still red. But if you're just going for these little scalps, 2, 3, 4 pips, 5 pips, this is one way to do it. You take your money quick, and sometimes they'll bring out a big bucket of pips, and sometimes they won't.
lucky, with what happens, and I never like to go and use that word luck, when we're talking about, trading, but the reality is there is some luck on it because, the reality is yes, I call it a living organism, this market, but the reality is that there's so many diverging ideas as to what price is going to do. It can create randomness, and I know there's a lot of guys out there that try to create patterns of randomness and actually trade off of that using random, what's called rounding theory or random theory.
Right.
But you're right. That would have been a nice little turn trade there. I mean, it could have been worth 4 pips at this point, or pretty close to 4 pips.
Yeah.
So it would have been a really nice little trade.
Right.
You probably would have gotten mad because you would have went in, and then as soon as it went in, it would have went all the way back down on you. It's like, what in the world?
Well, here's the indication, though. I mean, when you went in, it was a magenta dot, and then it turned the dot, and so it's just like, hey, since it started off, I'll take my 2 pips and be happy. And then you got a second chance on the very next candle, and you can see now
Right.
Price is still moving up. In fact, on the M5, with the M5 bias now on, we got an indicator 2 buy. So on that last candle.
Yeah.
And so now we're at the 10 line, and remember before it pulled back down, but looks like maybe this time it's going to continue. And I've got the fibs marking between the 2 3 balls. So 23.17.9, to call it 23.18 is the midpoint. And in fact, that's right where I exited last. I exited out at 23.19. And you see we just we're bouncing off that 38% fib right there at 23.10. So Price is kind of, if you look to the left, you can see Price is pretty much doing what it did for, it's like it leaves clues.
Yeah, it does, and that's the thing. You're not going to be right all the time, because eventually those clues, what they do is you get those clues because you see patterns. But, and so what you do is you try to take advantage of those patterns. Now, the bad thing about that is eventually the pattern breaks, and that's where the luck part that I was talking about a few minutes ago comes in. Are you going to be the one who goes and unfortunately have some bad luck, and you're the one on when the pattern breaks, and it breaks in the wrong direction for you?
Right. Now, one thing about luck, though, Walmal, the way I say it is, anytime you win, it's lucky. And the reason is that you do not control the outcome. When you enter the trade, you can't say, this trade's going to be a winner, I'm going to make it a winner. You can't say it. The market has to move in your favor. And that's luck, pure and simple. Somebody can argue all they want, but, each to their own on how they want to define things. But if you can't control the outcome and it's a favorable outcome, it's luck.
Yeah, but at the same time, every loss you took, right, that's not luck, because you're the one who chose to go and take the loss,
Yeah.
And where you chose to take the loss, that was all up to you as well.
Yeah, because I've been thinking about, since we've been, talking about routines and various aspects of trading, I really think, and I mentioned this to you on a phone call, not when we were making a video, that I think we have all been taught trading wrong. And because we're looking at indicators, we're looking at patterns, and the thing is, trading is really more about the money. And I really think the way you should learn to trade is you get I don't know, an EA or something, an indicator. I guess it would have to be an EA. And what happens is you turn it on, and then you sit there and you watch, because you're supposed to be paying attention. Next thing you know, you're in a trade. You don't know if it just puts you in a trade, long or short. Now you have to manage the trade. And so the thing is, if you think about it, that's what happens when you get in a trade anyway. You have to manage the trade, but we're all focused on this entry, this indicator, that method, blah, 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 as opposed to, okay, I'm in a trade, I got to manage the money. It's like, do I take a small loss? Do I sit and wait and hope for a gain? And I think that's where you could really develop your money management skills first, and your risk management first, and then when you start entering, a method, whether it's one of mine or somebody else's, you've already got that, those two, that leg down, and hopefully you've got you build your discipline. So you have your brain management down, you'll have your risk management down, and the money management down. And the other thing I think, Walmal, what's really important, see, when we take a trade, we've got a little ego in it because it's our method. We're choosing the direction, we're choosing the time. But if it's just thrown at you, there's no reason for you to get mad. You just have to handle it.
Right. You're exactly right. The problem is when we get into trades, sometimes that's why I think when people stick to losers, it's because I know I'm right. Go away. I'm right.
Right. Exactly.
And the next thing you know, their account is blown.
Exactly.
So, some people may ask why I didn't go and enter like 3 minutes ago on candle was 012, and I did have the third magenta dot. The reason why I didn't enter there is because we had already tested that 2300 level a couple of times. We were going into congestion. It just didn't feel right. That's why I didn't enter there. And then on top of that, we've got news in a few minutes, and it's sort of like, I'm sitting on my hands right now. I just I don't feel comfortable taking a trade. Now, if I'm right and I take a trade and the news moves the market, I can make a bunch of money. But just as easily, talking about that money management thing again, I could easily lose a bunch of money. Right. So, I'm just looking at it, it's like, the risk isn't worth the reward to me.
Right.
You get those traders and gurus out there that say, you got to go and pick your trades on risk reward and that type of thing. I kind of look at it a little bit differently, and that is, I don't look at it as a numbers game, 1 to 2, 1 to 3, and all those type of things. I look at it from the perspective of, I've seen this before, and I don't like the risk I have to take in order to go and make money. So I'm not looking at it as a numbers thing. I'm looking at it more as I'm not willing to go and take a chance and put my money on the table. Right. I'll just wait. So, and the funny thing is, if I would have taken the third dot in the other direction, we would have made some money, but, hindsight, but again, for the same reason, I didn't go in because of the news. However, I was probably more likely to go in there. I almost went in there. But I didn't, only because we didn't have all that congestion that you're running into from before. We have a imbalance bar from on M5 from like candle 2 is an imbalance that needs to be filled. We've now covered about half of that imbalance with this current move up. So I was more likely to take that trade, but I didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, and in fact, we're almost running out of time here. Boy, these 15 minutes go by quick, don't they, Walmal?
Oh, they do.
But it's kind of interesting.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of interesting how you can see how price is almost repeating itself here, the pattern. Yeah. So, and is the news at quarter past, or is it at the top or the bottom of the hour?
There's news at 8:15 and then more news at 8:30.
Okay.
So now.
Yeah. So, fellow traders, I hope maybe you picked up something again from Walmal and I there, showing you how we look at the trades, because it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is the Rumpled One, over and out.